Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have the 2025 Jeep Wagoneer S. We'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. All right, so we're behind the wheel of the 25 Jeep Wagoneer S, and this is the limited trim. So this is a different trim. There was the launch edition for 24. They've actually kept that into 25. It's kind of the top tier trim level. There's only the two trim levels, so saying this is base seems kind of crazy because of the amount of equipment in here, but this really is the base level. So before we even get going on the road, let's talk about some of the battery and some of the more kind of confusing stuff at times. Now, this one has a 93.9 kilowatt hour of usable capacity for the battery. So another thing along with that, this uses a 400 volt electric architecture, and that means it's capable of charging from about 20 to 80% in a claimed 23 minutes on a DC fast charger. Now, if you're using level 2 charging on a 240 volt system, you'd take the battery from about 5 to 80% in somewhere about 7 hours, so that's more going to be the overnight charge. So maybe you're using that at home, that is just going to be kind of plugging in overnight, you're ready to go on the next morning. Now, what about the total range? On this particular model, we're looking at 294 miles. So that is quite a bit of range out of a vehicle of this size. Now, what makes this so efficient is that it has a drag coefficient of 0.29. That's kind of like a supercar number from back in the day. The other thing that makes this pretty supercar-like is its 0 to 60 time. Jeep claims 3.4 seconds 0 to 60, and this thing absolutely moves out on the road. So now that we got some of that stuff out of the way, let's put it in drive, we'll go for a spin around and cover some of the other features. Now, my favorite thing about all these electric vehicles is just how quiet and comfortable they are. When you're kind of at this cruising speed, this lower kind of, whether you're backing up or moving around, you will hear kind of that audible sound coming out of the vehicle, and that's just to let pedestrians know that the vehicle's moving. It's that quiet. They have to add in these safety features now just to make sure people are aware. Then we get up to about 20 miles per hour, and that sound will go away. Now, what's cool about this Wagoneer S is the exterior styling. The first time I saw one, I loved how cool it looked. That design from the back of the vehicle, it almost looks like it has an old school NASCAR super wing on the back, and that is again to help with that drag coefficient. It just also gives it such a cool and unique design out back. Now, as far as this trim level is concerned, if we're starting on the exterior, I believe this is the crystal black mica paint, and it does have the black 20-inch wheels, and the wheel design is killer. I think it looks so good matched on this vehicle. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's almost like one solid piece. It does give it a pretty cool look, and it also does just kind of add to the style and luxury of this vehicle. This seems like a very upscale luxury vehicle, and I think you'd almost confuse people when you told them that it was a Jeep. But really, there's so much usability out of this. It doesn't drive like a larger SUV. It's going to kind of keep sort of almost that Grand Cherokee sizing to it, but it's not huge like the Wagoneer that you'd expect. It just kind of fits the bill for day-to-day use, but the back seat was also really comfortable. Now, the rear passengers, I didn't move the seat at all when I was filming back there, and the door kind of swings almost perfectly 90 degrees open. So if you're loading the kids in car seats, or you got a couple high schoolers, everybody is going to be comfortable in the back. Plus, there is USB-C charging back there and some vents as well. Now, another thing on the inside of the vehicle, this one will have a power liftgate and plenty of storage out back. So you can pop that open. It's actually a 60-40 split rear seat, so that makes it really convenient if you're not hauling people, to have plenty of cargo room if you're going away on a long road trip, anything like that. There's tons of room in here. Now, from the driver's seat, this is where you're going to want to be. So these seats are actually extremely comfortable. They're going to be heated for the driver and the passenger. These are also going to be power, and my seat does have lumbar as well, plus memory seating just right up here on the door. And just below that, you do have the power folding mirrors, so you can move them around or tuck them in if you want, or when you lock the vehicle, I believe they also do fold in, which is pretty nice and just kind of makes it easier to sneak past in the garage. Now, the steering wheel. This is kind of a goofy thing. It's definitely something that takes a little bit of getting used to. It's not the round wheel. It's kind of more the oval shape here with the flat bottom and top, but it does work really nicely. It's extremely comfortable in your hands, and this is also a heated steering wheel. So when those Minnesota winters roll back around, you have a 3-level heated steering wheel. When your hands are toasty, the seat's nice and warm, it makes it so easy to tackle those Minnesota winters. few other things in here is the amount of screen in the vehicle. It does seem a little overwhelming when you step up to the Launch Edition, because there's even another screen in here on the passenger side, but it's all really easy to use. The Uconnect system is some of my favorite out right now. It's fast, it's responsive, there's almost no lag in it, and I've got wireless Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto in here. They've now integrated Amazon Alexa, so you can actually start the vehicle from your Amazon device, which is really cool as well. But the wireless CarPlay makes everything such a breeze. Text messaging, Spotify, Google Maps, it's all right in here. And this one also gets an Alpine sound system. So I had my podcast going earlier, some music. It sounds so good, and just because it's so quiet in the vehicle, having that great sound system in here just makes it even that much better. We have to talk about the speed. So I'm kind of entering the ramp here. I'm gonna put my foot down and hold on because, oh my gosh, it has 600 horsepower and over 600 foot-pounds of torque. Like I said, that 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds is crazy. This is a supercar speed out of a standard Jeep. It seems so just far-fetched to me, but when you put your foot down at any time, the electric power that these make is pretty unbelievable. And even next to me on the road here is one of the new EV Hummers, which have even more power and have more speed. All these electric vehicles now are so crazy because they're so quiet and they're so fast. You pick up speed almost a little bit too effortlessly on the road sometimes, which is nice because in our digital gauge cluster, it actually shows you the speed limit in there. So with that just kind of one-speed electric motor, it does get a little disorienting at times. Just because it is so quiet and comfortable, it's nice to have the adaptive cruise control to help kind of slow you down. So you can set 3, 2, 1 car length distance ahead of you. It will keep that distance if you're eating up a ton of miles, if you're in stop and go traffic. I love all the safety that are built into these Jeep vehicles. Blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, emergency braking, and the full surround view camera in here is crystal clear. There's actually a little button you can push just on the haptic feedback bar here, and that would pull up the camera if you're trying to maybe see if the kids left something in the driveway or trying to get out of that busy parking spot. That is super cool, and there's like 15 different views you can look at to make sure you're not bumping into anything. Now there is just a couple other little haptic buttons on here. There's also a park assist, so maybe you kind of failed when you took the driver's test at either that parallel parking or anything else. This can help you out there, and just a few added other safety features. Then below that, there's actually touch-sensitive climate controls. So those are actually pretty cool. It's kind of like a little glass bar that runs underneath, makes it easy to always have the climate control and access, or it's just up here in the infotainment screen. You go through, turn on the heated seats there. There's actually kind of quick buttons for that. They're on the side. It does make it just pretty simplified with a lot of different ways to do different things. Then you can even click the button or kind of swipe down to pull up another screen. That's got your backup camera, the Amazon Alexa in there. There's even a passenger voice thing. So lots of pretty cool safety and tech in these Wagoneers. This does have built-in navigation as well, so if you aren't using the Apple CarPlay or anything else that's in there, you can kind of configure everything to look the way you want. It is just, the Uconnect system, like I said, has to be my favorite out now. It just makes everything so easy and convenient. Once you spend about 2 days with it, you'll have it all figured out, and it will just make driving around a breeze. Now, one other thing I love in here is the panoramic sunroof up above, especially with the all black interior. It really does open it up. It's kind of that dual pane window. It looks great, especially when you got the kids in the back. They're gonna love how it opens up. And then there's just a lot of comfort and style and kind of cool luxury touches in here. So where your center is here, where it's got the gear select, the power button as well, you do have a few selectable drive modes. So if I kick it down into sport mode, there's a cool little icon that'll pop up on the digital cluster, and then again, you gotta hold on because, it just kind of like wiggles and then just launches. It is so much fun. I would definitely get in trouble, I think, if I was driving this every day. So you do have to behave yourself, just because with 600 horsepower, it is just crazy to me that that's in a daily driver that gets almost 300 miles of range. You're not gonna get it driving like that, but if you do kick it up into the eco mode, you can kind of change the regenerative braking to a minimum or maximum as well, which makes it really nice. So it's just a fun, efficient vehicle. And there's lots of luxury and style in here. There's kind of a cool design that runs up onto the dash and kind of onto the center console here. There's just a lot of really cool touches in here. And you still do get some of that retro Jeep feel. Like they left the 7 slats up front in the grille. Just a throwback to the old school Jeep. I love that they do that in all their vehicles. And there's kind of little hidden Easter eggs around, which is pretty unique. But man, what a fun, daily, easy to drive commuter. I think they did such a good job with the design on the outside. Inside is really comfortable and quiet as well. And now we do have to touch on the price. So MSRP on this one's gonna be around $67,000. I believe at time of filming, we have about a $10,000 discount on these vehicles. So if you're looking to get one, now might be the time. They lease amazing, there's finance options available. You do get an 8-year, 100,000 mile powertrain or battery warranty as well. So you're not really thinking about anything. And with servicing an EV vehicle, no oil changes. I mean, really, you're just driving this vehicle and plugging it in. It makes it so simple to really enjoy your time behind the wheel, stay away from spending so much money at the gas pump as well. I think if you're cross shopping, I mean, any of the other electric vehicles, whether it's a Chevy or Tesla or something like that, this has such a unique and cool look to it and so much comfort and luxury inside. I think it's absolutely one to add to the list. Come out, take for a spin, and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 25 Jeep Wagoneer S. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.